Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Jigowatts. I am Peter, and joining me on this end of year special. It's not the end of the year, I know, it's almost March. Just bear with us, I'll explain it in a second. Matt's here.
Yeah, get ready to get some music because you're going to have to play me off multiple times. I'm mastering this.
Connor's here too.
I am. Sticking around.
Yeah, so this is going to be one of two award videos for movies for 2018. We used to do our movie awards at the end of the year. However, we spend so much time in the first couple of months of every new year catching up on movies from the previous year that last year we set the precedent of moving towards around the time the Oscars happen. The idea being that the official award shows get extra time to make their deliberations. We can do the same, so we have more time to watch more movies. So this is going to be our movie award show. The second video will be our top 10 movies. We'll all do our own top 10s. This is going to be categories. This will be music, cinematography, director, actress, actor, that kind of thing. And we're going to go through it. And the way this works, we don't like vote on a favourite. We offer nominations, and then we each pick our own winner, our own best actor, and so on of the year. So that is what we're going to do. So buckle in, because last year this went a while. So brace yourselves.
I'm winging it.
Me too.
Do you know, it's funny because I feel like the top 10 I spend so much time beforehand, like making sure it's nailed down.
Yep.
So when I commit to the top 10, I'm like, yes, I've got this locked in. This one, I do tend to kind of show up and expect to pick my favourite as we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because this is more of a conversation to get to the end point. Although we all end up with different results because, you know, tastes.
Well, we've all seen different movies.
That's also true. That's all true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we will start off, I think, with music. We'll start off with best original score of 2018. So
Good category to open it.
Yeah, Connor could start us off with a suggestion here.
Yeah, Mr. Music Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with what was at least the most interesting score for me of the year, which was First Man. That had so much going on, all these different styles of music going in there. You know, theremins at one point, hand drums at another.
He used a theremin.
Yeah,
Like...
and then, but then at other points you had a harp, and it was all these different things that probably shouldn't be in the same score together, but it really worked. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, he made it work, and that's the guy. He did La La Land and Whiplash too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Justin Hurwitz, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that one really stood out to me.
No, music in First Man was good. And it got more emotional as it went on as well.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to actually launching to the moon, it was really swelling up and doing all these things. So, no, that's not a bad pick. Matt, you got a pick to throw in?
Yeah, so I usually don't pay attention to music that much unless it really stands out, like the drums and the guitar in Wonder Woman. Right, like we all know, but
he chose to bring that up when we're talking about the best music of the year.
Yes, not the worst. So I usually notice it when it's bad, but the opposite happened as I was watching Black Klansman. The score in that I felt almost was counterpoint to the movie. So the movie is about the really serious case where there's levity peppered throughout, but the score is almost like it's from a 70s era blaxploitation movie. Almost like Shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's got less of the funk vibe going for it.
Yeah. So it's toned down, but I feel like that's what Spike was going for, was that kind of era.
Yeah, and it wasn't constant either. I feel like there was a good bit of silence before it kicked in for the first time, because I feel like he might have been doing some kung fu moves randomly in a scene when the music kicked in.
Well, and a couple times when he's doing some movie cop stuff instead of versus real life stuff, like towards the end, it kicks in, and I really noticed it, and I really liked it. Like, it did have a groove to it. Yeah.
I'm going to nominate Mandy, which I believe is the final score by Johan Johansson, who passed away. Was that even last
I'm only
year?
laughing because of course you picked the horror movie.
Well, it's kind of a horror movie. It's not.
Yeah.
I will agree that the music is the best thing about that movie.
Look at Connor throwing shade already. Didn't take him long.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean it's got a very hypnotic score. It kind of goes with the dreamy visuals of all the colors and lights and all that. But the music is full of synth. It's full of like long droning. It's full of dreamy ideas. You feel like you're in this kind of hypnotic nightmare, and the music's a big part of that. It's a sort of score for me that does typically stand out, but that one especially, I think, stuck in my brain throughout the year. So no, I nominate Mandy for music.
Okay.
Cora, you get a second pick to throw in.
Second pick, okay. I'm going with Solo. John Powell had such a great score for that movie. It was, it did the bombastic stuff, the lighthearted adventure stuff. The emotion was in it. It was a really great score. I really loved it.
So, are we just doing soundtrack, or are we doing sound, or just the score?
Just scores for this, yeah. Soundtrack's kind of a separate thing.
That went to my second pick, but let me.
I
can wing it.
You were going to pick Spider-Verse, weren't you?
Yeah, how'd you know?
I see through you, Matt. I see right through you.
Through me. Well, so this might be just a boring pick because it's out of my head since I'm not going Spider-Verse, but it's from another animated movie I thoroughly enjoyed this year. But The Incredibles, that soundtrack, or not soundtrack, but score rather.
Yeah.
Typical of a Pixar movie. They always have a fantastic score. And now I have to scramble to see.
Giacchino, who did the first one. It's following a lot of the original themes with the kind of the jazzy spy themes that it plays with.
Very, very mid-century modern feel to it. Yeah, but I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Score. Yeah,
no, that's fair. I'm going to throw in Assassination Nation actually, because that had a lot of like pulsing that kind of went along with the very quick edit style of the film, but it also had a lot of surprising things. I was listening to the soundtrack last night, and one of the things that stuck out to me is that the closing credits play out over a high school marching band going down the streets that have been, after the chaos has happened from the night before, and the thing the marching band are playing is the original composition for the movie. And even that's got quite a good ring to it, even though it sounds quite harsh because marching bands inherently just sound kind of shitty, I guess.
Oh, well, because you never get a decent recording of a marching band, because it's always big open spaces.
I guess what I'm saying is the acoustics are not great because it's outside, is what I'm saying. But even that was original music, and it was kind of, and there is some soundtrack stuff in there as well with some source music, but there's a lot of pulsing, and it's like a very, even from the trailer, because the score from the movie is used in the trailers as well, and even from the trailer I recognised it when the main theme kind of kicked in the movie. I remembered it from the trailer from 6-8 months ago. So
it's a really memorable, strong score. This one, lots of synth stuff going on, but when it needs to be tense, it really brings that.
Right. So I had two. I think the good format for this is after two each, we can just kind of quick fire some more suggestions. Call them honorable mentions if you want. I mean, assuming everyone's going to pick something from the first couple they said, or someone else has said, because obviously I might have said something that someone else was going to say or whatever. But Cara, any quick fire?
Quick fire ones. Isle of Dogs by Alexander Splat. It was a lot of fun, unique score. What else we got? I will say Fantastic Beasts. Say what you want about the movie, but still a great solid score.
I'll talk about that later.
I wonder what category that's going to pop up in. Matt, you got any quick fire, more music?
No, I agree with everything Connor said about First Man, because that was going to be one of mine.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, the fact that he's a theremin and it wasn't hokey, it wasn't like 60s TV sci-fi sounding theremin. It was like legit, like instrument theremin. So it was real good.
That's fair. I mean, for quick fire attacks, I will say I was pleasantly surprised by the Avengers Infinity War score. Like coming back from Age of Ultron, which had Elfman on the soundtrack, which is
he's it's Danny Elfman. He has these keys, the big drums, the horns.
Because they brought Silvestri back from the first movie, and Silvestri's score for the first movie is fine, if not outstanding or anything like that. But I felt like he took his own themes and it made it work better in Infinity War.
Tweaked them. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the greatest score ever, but I was surprised at how strong it was given my expectations going in.
Doesn't stop my wife from listening to it on loop every time I get in her damn car.
Other than that, is there anything else that's sticking out to me? I no doubt I'm missing a bunch of.
Yeah, I'm just having a scan. I'd tried Annihilation.
Okay.
Had an interesting, subtle soundtrack.
Yeah, no, it did. I think that's fair.
I liked it.
You know, I'm looking down my list just because sometimes you'll get like a low-ranking movie that actually had a really good score. In fact, I just found one. I want to talk about Halloween in the music because John Carpenter's new score, which he didn't do himself, he did it with his son and someone else, but his new score for that film is fantastic. The main theme is just kind of like a retelling of the main theme, but there's so much new little pieces in there and so much experimentation.
There's like a heaviness to it.
Yeah, there's electric guitars, there's synthier things, which is normal for Carpenter, but it's not actually normal for Halloween. Halloween 1 doesn't really have that much synth, really. It's just all piano and...
No?
Yeah.
So,
I
mean,
mean, there's that sting. Is that piano, though? That sting of Michael from the original?
I mean, I think that was synth, yeah, the... Do-do-do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that bit.
Okay.
That cue.
Gotcha.
I'm sure that's synth, but yeah. But for the most part, it's piano. Just So
it's such an iconic theme too. So
I get
the fact that they even tweaked it is pretty cool.
Yeah, no. So for as much as I am somewhat disappointed in that film, the score is not part of that. The score was very good. So yeah, okay. So let's pick some winners then. Connor, what is your favourite score of 2018?
I am going to go with... I'm going to go with First Man, just because I keep listening to it to analyse more.
That's fair. Matt?
I too am going to go with First Man.
Oh. Do you know, I'm going to be kind of weird given everything I just said, but I'm actually going to go with Halloween. So despite the fact that I don't like the film that much, I'm picking Halloween.
Yeah, all of that, these will just be honourable mentions. It'll be one of the first two that we
I never thought of it because I was looking at just the upper half of my list of the year.
It says a lot about a movie when the score is the best part. Looking at you, Fantastic Beasts. So,
well, to be fair, there are good movies that I actually think the score might be the best part, but only because
the score is excellent.
Yeah, it's the excellent and everything else is great.
Yeah,
it's the next level.
But so I'm going with Halloween because I actually have listened to that score a bunch, despite the fact I didn't like the movie that much. But hey, all right, let's move on then to cinematography. Best cinematography for 2018. So Connor,
should I get the easy one out of the way?
Go on.
Should I just throw out Roma?
Yes,
it's the obvious one that everyone's talking about.
It is the obvious one. It's shot in black and white. It's all these long takes, the camera just kind of moving slowly back and forth.
So it's a Cuarón movie.
It's a Cuarón movie, but it is different from other Cuarón movies in many ways. Like, because I feel like Children of Men was a lot flashier with its camera. This is a lot more subtle and confident.
This was the first one. He's the cinematographer as well, right? It's usually Lubezki, right?
Yeah.
So
this is shot it down.
Yeah, it's still like very inspired by that partnership, but it's toned down. It's a little bit more simple, but not in a bad way.
There's some stuff towards the end on the beach that is just absolutely stunning. And it adds to the drama of the scene because it's very intentionally only showing you so much, but at the same time it's giving this beautiful long shot of the beach, but it's concealing things off just to the side, and it adds to the tension of the scene. There's so much of this film that is aided by how the cinematography makes the world feel alive. So for all the films that we might talk about in this category, I think Roma would be the one that if you have the quality of the cinematography, the overall quality of the film would probably be hurt the most by it, because cinematography is such a big facet of why it's so good. Mm-hmm. But Matt, you got a suggestion for cinematography?
I do, and it's First Man.
I feel like Matt might have liked First Man.
Yes,
that impression.
Yeah, tends to happen. So I missed this in the theaters, and I'm kicking myself because watching it on my home screen, it even looked as great as it did. I can't imagine what it looked like on a giant screen. So I watched all the special features too, which on a rental I never do. I just watch it and take it back. But the fact like they used LED screens for natural lighting for the space shots. It's like when they're up in the ship and the capsule and even stuff on the moon, they were using LEDs instead of green screens and blue screens to give it that more natural look and feel. So it's just you see how much work goes into that.
The stuff on the moon felt very natural. It reminded me a lot of Moon, the film itself,
Yeah.
and how it looked on the moon. I think what I would praise about the cinematography in that is I like the choices they made with how much they show of the actual space travel stuff up until a certain point. Because for a lot of the film, it doesn't show. It never cuts to an exterior of the rocket or anything like that. It's always just.
It's
in
always
the
like looking out the window from the cockpit.
It's the astronaut's point of view.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that. It keeps it very, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say condensed, but everything's tight.
What's funny is there's actually a shot towards the end on the moon where the lighting is actually very similar to a shot at the end of Roma. In the style of the way the lighting's played.
Yes. Okay.
Interesting.
And I know they shot that scene on the moon was actually out in a field, out in the middle of nowhere, and they just dressed it up. You know, it was like in a quarry and whatnot. So they're trying not to do the soundstage thing. They want it to be as natural as could be. So
It looked great.
It's to me that's the highest point of that movie is the cinematography.
You two assholes taking the obvious ones, but I will throw into the mix. Yeah, I'm going to throw in Hereditary actually for cinematography, because what?
There are shots you'll never forget in that movie.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
How hard I don't want to as I'm trying to fall asleep at night. My brain's like, hey, you remember this?
Because there's like Hereditary, especially in the middle chunk of the film, is like some of the most like terrifying character drama I have ever watched in my life, and it's so much of it is aided with how there's because the scene that everyone talks about, right? No spoilers here, of course. Everything's spoiler free on this, because the idea is that you might be inspired to go and watch some of these movies we're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in the middle. I'll just say the car scene, right? For everyone who's seen it, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Whereas I said, holy shit, what the hell? Thanks, Pete, for not warning me.
Right. So there's that scene, and like so much of it is in the restraint of what to show and what not to show. So much of it is just one of the things that I love in a piece of cinematography is the choice to, like, is this at a moment where we show the world the character is in, or is this a moment where we focus on the character and the world is essentially a mystery to us because we're not paying attention to that, because we're closed in with the character. And that section of the film plays that so well. There's this like anxious like 10 minutes of waiting to be broken away from this character's hold, but you're just with that character waiting for the something, yes, the follow up to what happened, we'll say. And it's so much of it's in the cinematography. The movie's also full of other like great little cinematic moments. So Hereditary.
Yeah, the way that the director plays with the camera there too. They're when the spooky stuff starts happening, you know, like it's weirdly passive, you know, where he just leaves the camera there and then stuff happens around it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I often like to talk about confidence when I'm talking about cinematography, because I feel like the reason why I bring that word up a lot with cinematography is like it's not so much that all the other jobs in movie making don't require confidence. It's that confidence seems like the key factor I feel when I'm watching something, that it feels like it's just cutting together in a way that works, and it's like, you know, they've made it work and it's fine, and that's that. You know, that's a lot of TV shows. It's, you know, sometimes referred to as radio with faces, and it's just, you know, shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot, master shot, shot, reverse shot, master shot.
Cool. So how you're talking about cinematography is how I look at editing. Is like when it comes to editing, I'll know when I see something that's really well edited. You know, whereas we're tricked so much into just basic editing. Yeah. Like what you're saying, radio for TV. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So no, Hereditary is one option. Cara, do you have another option for cinematography?
Yeah, I'll go with the favorite. Just, I mean, I'll put it this way: I have never seen a period drama doing a panning shot on a fisheye lens before. and it's just
Seems like too much to me, but what do I know?
it should, and it is too much for what if it was a typical period drama, but it's actually this absurdist comedy, and it feels in tone with what you're getting on the screen. There is a very out there dance sequence with this incredible tracking shot that just looks great. There's all these moments that really come together that stand out because of the cinematography.
Yeah,
it's real good.
Yeah, I don't think me or Matt have seen it, so you're speaking for yourself here. But
I think it's well worth watching because it's unique. Like I said, it's
when you say dance sequence,
yeah,
is it a ball? Like
it's kind of it's a ballroom dance. It's only like two characters. The rest of it is crowd watching, but it's not a ballroom dance. It's not what you're thinking. It's set to that sort of music, and it starts off as if it's going to be that, and then it goes into something else entirely, and it's unique. I've got no.
This movie sounds like it would infuriate me. I'm getting Wes Anderson vibes, even though I know it's not Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm going to throw a suggestion here, actually, which I think is worth mentioning for a specific thing that it does, and that is Upgrade. I want to talk about Upgrade a little bit in cinematography, because the plot of Upgrade is that a character played by Logan Marshall Green. This is basically the superior Venom of the year. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's down to the actor. Logan Marshall Green looks like Tom Hardy.
He does. And the fact is that I want to throw shade, because I think he's better in Upgrade than Tom Hardy was in Venom, but they're both fantastic actors, is the weird thing here. Because
Upgrade didn't have lobsters, Pete. So...
you know what? You're saying all this. I'd still rather watch Venom again now.
No, I wouldn't. I enjoyed Upgrade. I did not enjoy Venom at all. Venom was garbage.
I think I'm with Connor on this, and that pains me.
It should pain you. You should feel that deep inside. So, but here's the thing with Upgrade is Upgrade is like he becomes a paraplegic, but he gets this chip that is like a computer that can actually let him walk. But every so often, the chip can take control of his body, and it does this really interesting thing where. And the acting adds to this, where his head is kind of reacting to what his body's doing, and he does a lot with his body language to sell the idea that he's not really controlling it himself, like a second entity is controlling it, right? The cinematography does this wonderful thing that gives it this surreal feeling, where it feels like his body is more robotic, and what it does is you've got this thing called chest cam that a lot of things do. They do it when a character is high or something like that, where you'll have the camera just looking at their face, and it'll look like they're perfectly still, but the background's moving around, right? It's like they're completely still.
It's almost like the opposite of a steady cam. There's counterweight to balance it. This is just a stick cam that's on the chest, and it moves with the body.
Yeah, but the actor looks perfectly steady, and everything else moves. But you always see it in a close-up. What was strange about this movie is it does it on these wide shots where I don't know how they achieved this, but they had the camera really far back, and you'd have his whole body moving, and the camera would be in perfect unison with him, and it would be the surroundings that would feel like they're shaking a little bit, and it gave it this really unique feeling. I think just in terms of being inventive to sell your concept, I think Upgrade deserves points for pulling that off, and giving me something that felt genuinely unique, I guess.
To what Connor was saying, I feel like I enjoyed Venom more, but Upgrade's better in every way.
Yeah, it's better film.
Better shot, it's better acted, the story's better, but it's not banana pants crazy like Venom.
It's a better film, but I enjoyed Venom more.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't agree with any of this. Venom is not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. All you bastards who gave it $800 million at the box office, you're all dead to me. Dead to me.
That post credit has me more excited than anything. So, I guess mission accomplished. Maybe.
Oh, God no. Matt, you got a cinematography suggestion?
Yeah, I got one more, and it's the Jonah Hill's movie, mid-90s, which is all about the skateboard culture, and he shot it in 4:3, so it's this, tight little box, like you would see in these, skate movies of the time. And just, it's very cinema verite. Like, the camera works very sparse, and it's almost like you were a fly on the wall as this stuff is occurring throughout the movie. And then when the skate sections pick up, that's where the camera comes to life. And it's a real fun balance in between, I don't want to say in between, but the balance that he strikes with the characters, like what the home life is like versus what it's like out hanging out with his buddies, skateboarding and being a kid. It was, I wasn't expecting that out of Jonah Hill. You know.
That's fair. So a couple of quick-fire ones then we can do. I think you should probably mention Mission Impossible Fallout just for the camera work during the stunts, because it is actually really insane.
That bathroom fight scene is one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen.
There's stuff towards the end with the IMAX cameras when the helicopters are involved, and I'm just like, you crazy bastards! He's actually high enough of a helicopter.
You really did this. Like, there's no faking. You're trying to kill Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I think I'd throw in the Suspiria remake here as well. It's got a very distinct style, but it's very opposite from what the original was. The original was all bright colors and fancy lighting. This is like really melancholic. It's very muted colors, but it's got this harsh editing style where it'll like cut and it'll like linger and it'll feel like a documentary at times, or it'll feel it does all these things. So when the movie gets quite crazy in the last act, it really feels like, holy shit, this is getting batshit insane. But it makes you feel unsettled the entire time. So I think it's worth mentioning that one as well.
Would you chalk up Bad Times at El Royale? Is that the editing or the cinematography that made it so flashy? Because I'm having a hard time.
I'd say a little of column A, a little of column B.
Yeah. Because there's some real fun tracking shots in there, but I also the pace is kept not so much with the camera work, but the boom, 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 the back and forth of the editing. But I remember seeing compositions and whatnot really, really standing out. But I'm not sure if that's editing or camera, so it was a tough.
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. We don't specifically do an editing award, so I mean, in many ways, we're kind of including editing.
Editing kind of rolls into both cinematography and direction.
Yeah. I mean, I like Bad Times at El Royale a lot. But
I wanna.
Yeah, that's why I didn't throw it up higher, just because.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not.
not quite. It's that movie is proof that filmmaking is collaborative. Because again, it's a little bit of everything going on that really makes it.
I actually agree. I think Bad Times at El Royale is a really good example of a movie where every single element is solid and it makes a really solid movie overall. That's how I describe Bad Times at El Royale.
Yeah, there's no one thing that stand out amazing.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I'll give it again a shout out Annihilation. That was shot beautifully. Especially
That made me want to watch this.
A lot of interesting visuals.
Not sure it's a film for you, Matt.
No, but I heard there's Oscar Isaac in the picture. I kind of feel obligated.
Oscar Isaac's in there. Yeah, there is a bear of sorts in it.
Yeah.
There is, yeah. But that movie, when it's doing tense, the camera works really great, and then when at the end when it's all this gorgeous stuff happening.
Yeah, a lot of bright otherworld, colourful sci-fi stuff in that.
Yeah.
So no, good. All right, winners. Connor.
Roma.
Matt.
First Man.
Yeah, I'm picking Roma.
I hate to be boring, but
yeah, no, it is the best cinematography of the year.
Yeah.
It's Roma. All right. So we'll move on then to best director. So this should be interesting. Connor, do you have an opening nomination?
Start with Matt. He's probably more prepared.
Okay, Matt.
No.
Have you got an opening nomination?
I do, but I'm having a hard time remembering his name. Even though I should know it, I'm having.
What's the movie at least?
It's First Man.
All right.
I'm gonna lead with First Man as much as I can.
Damien Chazelle is what you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you, Chazelle. We talked about the cinematography. We talked about the editing. He gets these performances out of Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy that they don't seem to stand out because they're so plain, but that's what makes them stand out. It's this weird, again, it's a weird balance. And I just thought it worked. And this guy that went from making a movie about jazz drumming to a modern day musical about Los Angeles to Neil Armstrong's life story and Walking on the Moon, it's a bold choice. For that was his next follow-up. And now, I don't want to say we're losing him to TV, but his next project is a, like Fukunaga did.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So I want to take advantage of him directing a movie.
What that means is it's going to be 8 hours of content from him instead of 2. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, Corey, you got a nomination.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal Alfonso Cuarón again because
Okay.
Pete, you put yourself forward first.
Do you know,
I gave you an opportunity, then I thought you were gonna swing back around.
I feel Pete has more. Like, I think he'll be fine if he's still Coron.
I thought, you know, when he skipped me, and I thought, oh, that's fine. You know, after Matt, he'll just go to you and then come back around to me. But no,
I'm stealing one from Connor next. So I'm calling it.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, that first man probably would have been one of mine as well.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I'm going to name something no one's talked about yet. I'm going to talk about Jordana Spiro for Night Comes On. Which...
What is this movie?
What is this movie, you ask? It's kind of a character drama starring Dominic Fishback, who was on The Deuce, if you don't know who she is. But she gets out of juvie. She just turned 18, she's out of juvie. And her father killed her mother when she was like about 10. And she is just determined to get revenge and kill her father. She's trying to find her father. She's the day she gets the whole movie takes place over like the 2 days. Like she gets out, it's like 2-3 days of that time. But she's got a little sister who's now about 10. And her little sister ends up kind of tagging along while she's searching for revenge. And it's this character drama. The direction is I think there's two main things that make this movie as good as it is, and it's the direction, it's the acting. Some more on the acting later, but the direction, it does a lot with a lot of quiet. It does a lot of things where, you know, she doesn't have a place to stay the first night. There's a lot of quiet, looking around for things to do. There's a lot of scenes where she gets herself into trouble. There's some things it's her fault, some things that are not her fault. But it has this thing where it does these like interludes where you'll have like a section of the story, and then there'll be like some traveling with some music, and it'll be just like setting the tone and the atmosphere. But ultimately, it's a character drama about these two characters, these two sisters, and the revenge and the anger that's kind of within. But the direction's a really big part of it. Because it really does this thing again that I spoke about where it doesn't really concern itself with the rest of the world all that much. It really is like that. There's not a single scene in this movie that doesn't have the main character in it. Every single scene has her.
Oh, what's that called? A contained narrative?
Yeah.
I think that's called. Where you're with the one character the whole time.
Yeah. So So I'll throw that out there because, you know, if Connor's still in the obvious ones, I'm going to throw out
fair enough.
some I don't know if whale card's the right word, but I'll call it a whale card.
No, that's
Underdogs.
Good. That's good.
Underdogs. There you go.
Yeah.
Matt,
right.
go
Connor,
on.
I'm gonna give Connor a chance to see if he's gonna.
No, it's fine.
No, you sure? You sure?
Yeah.
So this one's gonna seem weird just because of who it is, but Ron Howard for Solo, for the fact that he was able to come in and shepherd this into being a really entertaining movie.
Yeah.
And because everything we heard about Lord and Miller, as great as they are with other films, I wasn't expecting Solo to be.
I went into that movie expecting a mess.
Yeah, and the fact that it ended up being, out of the new batch of movies, the most Star Wars, at least to me. Like,
I can't argue with that. It's the most traditional Star Wars movie.
Yeah, you could tell that Ron Howard did love the first one. Like, you could tell that when it hit, his buddy George, he was like, "Hey man, I want to make one of these one day," and he finally got to pay it off.
It's not my favorite of the new movies, but it's definitely the most traditional Star Wars of them.
Yeah.
And the direction, the fact that it is a coherent movie that works, you know, all the way through, given all its troubles, is kind of astounding.
Yeah. Well, and then we'd heard all this mess about Alden Ehrenreich not being able to act, and then, I mean, yeah, there's certain scenes where he's a little rough because there's only one Harrison Ford, right? Like,
yeah, it's not that he's actually bad. It's just that he's not Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but there are times where he is Han Solo. There are these little grins and the swagger and him just like
he's got the
making it up as he goes. Yeah, you know, like he is, and then, you know, Kira, Khaleesi, Amelia Clark. Yeah, she shows up and she's a femme fatale. Like, it's almost like kind of what Star Wars was. You know, it was, you know, a send up to these older movies. I kind of feel that's what Solo was. So it's playing with archetypes, and each of the characters fits in. And I think Ron Howard is I don't want to say blame, but he should be able to take all the credit for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Didn't see it.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's probably the one Pete would have liked most out of the new batch.
Yeah, it is, because he does like the original trilogy, you know? He could consider himself a fan.
Yeah. Also,
and this feels right at home.
Emilia Clarke's
So-
not off the shit list for Terminator Genesis yet.
Yeah, well, she, you know, she could hit me with a baseball bat and she would not be on my list, you know? So,
No.
plus, yeah. Well, more on Solo later.
Yes. Connor, what's your next nomination?
Brad Bird for The Incredibles 2. Because
Yeah.
it's a fantastically put together film. Every aspect of it really works. And I feel like directing in animated films often gets overlooked. But it's, you know, it's obviously just as important. It's still, you know, it's his movie still throughout. And that shows.
And it plays, I mean, it plays right into the themes of the first, but, you know, even more so evolved for our times.
Yeah,
you know,
it's obviously
15
there
years
was
later.
15 years, but there's no time jump in the movie.
No.
And the fact that it feels seamless yet still
Timeless.
updated is kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to throw in Bo Burnham for 8th grade. That movie, again, I had a lot of really close-up character dramas this year that I quite liked, apparently, but this one kind of fits into that vein. It's just it's all this girl who's 12 years old, 13 years old. Well,
Yeah, 12, 13.
Yeah.
She's in 8th grade. That's her last week of school, basically.
Yeah, before she was at high school, and it's just the awkwardness of teenage. But like everything, I think what impresses me so much about this movie in terms of the direction is the balancing act of, like, you have the kids being kids, but they're not like annoying or infuriating. They're
No.
like, she feels like a real person, and I think throughout the entire film, I think some of the best movie making can put you in a character's shoes, and it doesn't matter that you are not this character. It doesn't matter that none of us, because we've all seen this movie. None of us, I mean, we're all 13, sure, but none of us were 13-year-old girls, right?
No.
And some of our experience is directly relatable to things we went through. Some of it isn't, and
Yeah.
every step.
There's a whole thing in that movie about how, you know, just 4 or 5 years difference in age means that they had a completely different experience at school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the other thing. We're all older, obviously, than someone at 13 right now. There's a joke in the movie where a high schooler is like, "Well, you had Snapchat in 5th grade." I'm like, "Shut up, bitch! You had Twitter and like whatever."
Yeah.
I didn't have Twitter till I was in my
3rd
20s. So you shut up.
Well, so you said that we were all 13, but we weren't 13. My wife, who watched this with me, was a 13-year-old girl, and she's watching it with horror on her face in some moments, going, "Oh no, girl, don't do! Oh no, you just did it."
Joe, I love about it though, and this is both writing and direction, is that there's scenes where you know something's going wrong, you know where this is going, but at no point do you think the character's an idiot for not seeing it coming, because everything feels like
she's a 13-year-old girl. She doesn't know any better.
Well, exactly, but I think going back to the relatability, like, I probably could have done something just as equally stupid, or not seen this coming, or not seen it going this way, or so you're in her shoes the entire time, and so much of that is the direction. There's so many sequences where I'm thinking early on she's going to a pool party, and she's like a very like introverted, like quiet girl, and there's this build up to her. It's almost like, remember in The Wrestler, Matt, when Mickey Rourke's like walking out to the he's got this job at the supermarket, and it's like he's walking to the ring, to
the curtain,
to the backstage, right? It's almost like that, but nerve-wracking as shit as she's walking up to the patio door to go out to the pool, and there's music playing, but as soon as she opens the door, the music just cuts, and it's just the noise of the kids splashing and, you know, talking and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, this is scarier than like any horror movie I've seen in the last like 5 years. Like, what's happening?
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I remember that feeling, like you're saying, it's very relatable. I remember that being awkward and at that age and seeing a big group of your peers and feeling like you don't fit in and like you're going to stick out. But you realize as you're an adult, they're all kind of just paying attention to themselves. They don't really notice everything you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think,
you know,
the best advice I could give to a 30-year-old just now, especially after watching this movie, is the biggest weapon you have in your arsenal is not giving a shit. It's the second you decide not to give a shit is you'll become this stronger person for it. Just but yeah, Bo Burnham, who is a comedian, and this is his first movie as a director. So
you guys might know him from last year's The Pick. He was the really successful friend to the main character. He's really funny too. I've been a fan of his for a while.
I did see an interview about this. It popped up on Twitter the day after I watched the movie for whatever reason, and he was going, he always gets told he's a comedian for 12-year-olds, and he's like, well, clearly that paid off.
Yeah. Well, if
I
that's
think
the case,
it was. I think it might have been today. I just thought, he was accepting an award for it, and it was praising the actress, and that's where he made these comments.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, my sense of humor is around that era, so it makes sense.
We know.
As you do.
Yes.
All right, so some quick fires. Connor.
No.
Matt, do you want to go? You were ready to go. You go, Matt.
Let him
I was
go.
ready to go.
He was excited.
It wouldn't be this, end of year without me. Lord, this is the first time I can do that. So Julius Avery, in his debut, I think put together a really fun, pulpy, army movie.
Yeah, I think you cut out when you said the title of the movie, Matt. So just reiterate.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Overlord. Yeah, Julius Avery. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's character development. There's tension with sneaking around enemy lines and just straight up comic book pulp style action. And he does it all so well. And I couldn't believe this was his first major feature. So
any more quick fires?
Once again, Annihilation.
Yeah,
Alex
there you go.
Garland.
Alex Garland. Alex Garland's been relegated to the. This movie in itself has been relegated to the quickfire for every single category.
It has. It's so good. It's really good. It's just not quite at the level of the ones that we're saying.
Yeah.
Also, not in these individual categories, even though it's so close.
Yeah. Obviously, you said Corona already. I mentioned. I think quickfire for me is so we've already talked about a bunch of movies, so I didn't want to necessarily focus on them immediately in this category. But I mentioned Assassination Nation. I think the direction's also a big part of that movie. There's a lot of a balancing act in that. In fact, me and Connor recorded a review for that yesterday. That'll be going up during the week for patrons, and then a week later for everyone else. But so that's a part of that. Black Klansman, I think you have to mention Spike Lee again.
Yeah, Spike.
Balancing very difficult topics in a way that's kind of lighthearted, but also hits you with the gut punches. Is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
The last 5 minutes are I think bold directing move, I think, all year. If we had just had a word for that.
Which is funny, because I think that last 5 minutes, in a way, is not even directing in the sense that he's directing the scenes. It's just he made a choice to put something at the end.
Yeah, but ultimately that's part of the director's job. So fair. I'm going to throw out Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born. I think that's really well directed. That's kind of his movie overall, really. Anyway, because he's involved in pretty much
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she's good. She's actually really good, surprisingly. But it's his movie, in terms of.
I always felt like she'd be a perfect actress because she's playing a character as Lady Gaga, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. But
so it shouldn't come as a surprise.
Yeah, but Cooper was involved in the directing, writing, acting, the songwriting. It's kind of his film, and he does a great job.
Yeah, who directed the Meg? I want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I love how no one even pretended or was even mildly considering the fact that I might have been genuine there. You just knew I was bullshitting.
I knew you were, because the Meg wasn't that good. It was
better than Rampage.
Better than Jurassic World.
Not saying much. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. Jurassic World 2 was not a good movie, but I still kind of loved the back half of it. So I'm not going to.
I watched them back to back on the same day.
Yeah.
The Meg slightly edged it out for me.
The Jurassic World 2 turns into a Dino Crisis movie, and I couldn't help but kind of love it. So
I just want to throw out real quick the directing team for Spider-Verse. There's 3 guys there, and just the fact that they could pull something together that I didn't really believe in, and then I'm sitting in the theater going "Holy shit, this is great!" And this is 2018 for me was the year of Matt realizing he loves Spider-Man. So between Spider-Verse and the Spider-Man game, I have so much more love for this character, and I mostly want to credit Spider-Verse.
Well, you got a new Spider-Man movie coming out this year, so
yeah, with one of my favorite actors too, Jake Gyllenhaal. So
yes, Mysterio. All right, any more quick fires for the director before we pick?
Krasinski.
Yes,
for A Quiet Place.
That's surprised that I didn't know he had it in him.
Honestly, yeah. If you're picking that for something, I think director's probably the best one to pick. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I knew he was a playwright, so he didn't come straight from acting. Like he was in the different aspect of storytelling. So to see him actually pull it all together and make like one of the most tense experiences I've had at the theater. And
naturally, that film, because of its premise, means there's not a lot of dialogue for most of the movie, which leads to a lot of visual storytelling, and that makes it. And it's not only very visual, but I remember it feeling weird, like the opening scenes in the theater, because everything was so quiet compared to normal. Like it was playing.
It gets so loud.
Yeah, it was playing with this idea that. Yeah, we're not even going to have like music playing during these quiet scenes for the most part. We're going to actually let you feel the silence in the theater, and it made it feel eerie sitting in the theater.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and credit to him for that one.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, Quiet Place, like my main complaint of Quiet Place comes from just a couple of decisions at the end in the script.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But all right, we're picking winners then. So Connor, best director of the year.
Do I be boring? I'll be boring. Come on.
Do you know the best part of this is that on the review card was like, I don't even love it that much.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay.
They haven't seen that yet, have they?
No, they haven't. No, that's not going up. That's not going up for everyone yet.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your director of 2018?
I'm gonna keep the streak alive. I'm going Chazelle. First man.
So that'll take us on then to Best Actress of 2018, and we opted against doing Supporting Actress, although we'll probably end up mentioning some as we discuss this category. But yeah, so Connor, what was your first nomination for Actress of the Year?
I'm going to go with Olivia Colman for The Favourite. She plays the Queen, and it's fantastic. It's not a performance you would expect from it's a queen, right? You have an image in your head. It's not that performance.
Does she at any point say "off with their heads"?
No, but she does get quite screamy at points, and she's very deranged is almost the word I want to use. She can never make up her mind, and she's all over the place. It's very scattershot.
She's screamy, you say. I'll tell you what, this film will win me over, and I'll go watch it if you tell me right now if at any point she screams, "Diplomatic immunity!"
No, she doesn't.
Because the Queen technically does have diplomatic immunity in a way. To a point, right?
I would love for Queen Elizabeth to just come over to the States and just got causing havoc and yelling "diplomat." Oh, God, that's
she definitely would.
Oh, I know she would. I love the pictures of her still driving. Like, she was an ambulance driver in the war, so you ain't gonna take her driver's license away. So she's damn near in her 90s, right?
She's gonna run people over in other countries.
Obviously,
I'd be like, "Diplomatic immunity."
Her husband just had to give up his license. He's 97, and he had to give it up based on a crash that happened last month.
Oh dear.
I love the fact, like, we have rich people in this country that have drivers. Your guys are like, nah, you ain't taking my freedom.
Yeah, they're like, no, we want to be able to drive. The independence of, no, I'm doing it myself, damn it.
I like that. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, I want that. We need to work on that movie, guys. The Queen loses it.
Diplomatic immunity.
I feel like it's a Sacha Baron Cohen movie.
Yes.
That you're describing.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
You can vote in the comments if you want me to change my diplomatic immunity voice to the Queen doing diplomatic immunity. You just got a sneak peek of it. Diplomatic immunity! Philip! Get over here! I've got diplomatic immunity! Alright.
We're talking about actress, right?
Yes, actress, yes.
Actress.
Matt, what's your first pick?
I'm gonna go with Blake Lively in A Simple Favor. Pete earlier was talking about confidence, and that's
too much confidence. She has scary confidence.
She is human embodiment of confidence from the first time you see her on the screen opposite Anna Kendrick, who is playing, I don't want to say against type, but she's kind of the pushover. Yeah, timid. That's the word. And Blake Lively just shows up on screen and is completely magnetic, and then she's basically the MacGuffin throughout the movie is what happened to her character. and her presence is felt like a ripple across the entire rest of the movie. So she's really, really.
All right, that's good. I'm just going to piggyback off my last thing from the last category, but I feel like Elsie Fisher for 8th grade is an obvious choice to mention because she is so natural, and it feels like when I reviewed this on my own, I used the word authentic like 50 million times, and I feel like that sums her up in that movie. Sums all the kids up, to be honest, but her especially. She anchors the whole thing. She carries the movie. And she is like what 13, and she's doing it effortlessly. Like and like obviously I'm sure this was makeup and stuff like that, but the idea of a kid of that age like being cool with being made to look like acneed up and like she looks like a unpleasant teenager, and I don't mean that as an insulting way.
Everyone has that awkward. I'm sure we all have those pictures somewhere, you know. Like how bad we looked at that age group. You know, it's. Well,
I mean, I may have murdered anyone who had a copy, but they technically existed. or actually, I have to go with Matt's joke. No, I don't, because I wasn't created until 2012.
True. Android.
I was built in 2012. I don't have kid photos.
That's true. I wasn't aware of Pete until about. So.
But no, I think she deserves a big mention. So, Cara, Dilla pick.
Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born. It's a really great performance. She carries a lot of the emotional side of that movie, and this is another one where 5 years ago you told me, oh, she'd be up there as in a best actress category.
What you're saying is, Connor, is that she has a good poker face.
How long have you been waiting on that one?
Well, I'm just saying. That's acting's essentially a poker face. And, she's been doing a lot of like awards touring right now, but doing a lot of things. She's been dealing with a lot of paparazzi. I'm sure that's challenging.
Right. Sure, she's taking
Matt. Jesus.
Yeah. No, it's funny because both of my picks there are actresses that a decade ago I'd have gone, no, not in that category. Like Olivia Colman, I've been a fan of since Peep Show started. I've liked her in that, but again, it wasn't like, oh yeah, she'll be up for serious contention of these proper awards. Yet here we are, and it's weird, but great performance from Gaga.
I can't think of any more Lady Gaga songs to make puns about. So
mine was Telephone. I made a telephone joke, and now it's stuck in my head. So great.
I was trying to think of how to work Alejandro into it, but I couldn't quite do it.
Pete's knowledge of pop music is failing him.
Yes, I only know like 3 or 4 of her songs, and I think I've run out.
To be honest, I probably only know a handful. I mean, you could say the movie is a bit of a bad romance.
That's the best one, Connor. Good job.
There you go. Just Dance was one of hers, right? That's a Gaga song.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Couldn't work that in though.
No.
I tried. I just couldn't.
No. That's all Lady Gaga songs I know. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we got them out of the system now, right?
Yes. Only because I can't think of any more though. If I knew her albums back to front, I'd be dropping them left and right. I'd be doing sentences just full of song titles right now. Matt, what's your next pick for actress?
So my next one is Holly Hunter in Incredibles 2. She, yes, it's a voice, but she carries the weight of that movie. Like, this is her movie, and as much as the first one was Bob's. So and it fits really well into the modern times. We're talking about Captain Marvel coming out in like 2 weeks, and she gets to lead a superhero movie. Yeah, for us it is, yeah.
Oh man!
So
I just haven't been paying attention. I knew it was March, but I mean, I know it's March in a week's time, but I didn't know.
But Holly Hunter goes from being the concern, gets to go out there and do cool stuff.
Repeat that sentence, mate. You cut out during the
I said Holly Hunter just gets to go from she's just the mom taking care of the kid to, she's back at her job and being the boss.
She's leading the family, yeah.
Yeah, and Holly Hunter's really good at that, and you never don't believe Helen, You know, as soon as she says something,
it's probably the most important performance of the movie.
Well, next to Jack versus the Raccoon, but you know,
yes,
you know,
yeah,
yes,
but yeah, it is her movie for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Let me just check a name here because I'm never going to get this from memory. But I do have to nominate the actress from Roma because Yalitza Aparicio, her first role as Cleo.
It's pretty great.
It's phenomenal. It's so natural. I feel like between Roma 8th grade and then another one that I'll just sort of mention as a quickfire here, Night Comes On. Like, I saw 3 very sort of intense character dramas where the lead actress kind of carries the whole movie on her back, and every single one of them kind of do it. They kind of do it effortlessly, but they all do it in very different ways. I think this again is a very natural performance. She's very quiet and timid, but whereas I think Dominique Fishback in Night Comes On is very quiet for a lot of the movie. There's a lot of it is very silent, but it's not timid. It's a silent anger. It's a silent rage. It's a silent determination to a fault, and but you get these facets of the characters throughout. So I think those are worth mentioning. So quick fires. Who's got quick fires to mention?
Haley Steinfeld and Bumblebee. She no, she's great. Like, she's not in the awkward teenage phase. She's not quite an adult, but she's still a teenager. So there's this, balance that she's playing, because it kind of is a coming of age story about a girl in her car and how that car means freedom. And Travis Knight just gets every ounce out of her through this. Like, you have to imagine she's acting against,
a ball and a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's great, plus it's Haley Steinfeld, and I have to. It's one of those things.
I haven't seen Bumblebee yet. I want to see it, and the weird thing is I didn't prioritize it because I didn't expect it to hit my top 10 or anything like that for this. But
fair enough.
But I mean, I am looking forward to it, which is saying something given the state of the Transformers movies for the last decade. So
yeah,
that is what it is. Any quick fires, Connor?
Emily Blunt for a Quiet Place.
That's my good other one.
That's not a bad choice, actually.
She's really solid.
She's
performance.
I don't want to say the heart of the movie, but because that might be Krasinski, but she carries a lot of the emotional.
Yeah, it only works
relationship with the
pair of them
daughter.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. She's really good. She's also good in Mary Poppins, but I don't want to throw that out there. But it's just the fact she could be in The Quiet Place and then be Mary Poppins just shows her versatility.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. I'd also just throw out the 2 supporting ladies from The Favourite, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz.
I'm thinking Connor really liked this movie.
I really did.
I'm getting that impression.
Rachel Weisz basically plays the Queen's best friend, and she's the sensible one. She's kind of like you get the impression very early on that she's the real power behind the Queen, right? Plotting the stuff. And then Emma Stone comes in and tries to usurp that role, and it's a rivalry between them for the Queen's affections.
Yeah, easy to do because it's Emma Stone. I'd follow her off a cliff.
Yeah, the little sister in Night Comes On is the one that I thought for supporting as well. Actually, another quick fire for the lead actress actually is Madison Wolfe from I Kill Giants.
Yes,
I want to throw her out.
Forgot about
that. She was really good. A couple of good kid actors this year. They're used to this, but
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, she was really good. It's a really emotional story. She's a character who's playing with delusional ideas, but it's a kid. Like you've seen this done with adults before, but this was like a kid doing this, and it sold believably well.
Her and her hammer, Kovalevsky.
Yep, her and her hammer, her and her Thor hammer. No wonder Matt ended up liking this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just for the sake of consistency here.
Yes.
Natalie Portman for Annihilation.
Well done, sir.
I mean, no, she's fine.
She's good. I don't think she's really. It's not her best performance. It's good, but
I would say the acting's not bad in that movie, but it's definitely the lesser thing that I would talk about in that movie.
I agree. I just wanted to make the joke.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not really going to be able to do it when it comes to actor, so I thought, well, I've got to get it out now.
Yeah, for supporting actually, Zoe Saldana and Imogen Poots are both quite good in I Killed Giants as well.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Zoe was in that. She was the
therapist.
I tell you who I want to mention for lead. Saoirse Ronan for Mary Queen of Scots.
All right.
She is fantastic in that movie.
Man, that girl's had a couple of years where it's just solid after solid after
Yeah,
solid.
and you've got Margot Robbie in there as well, in a more supporting role. She's also very good, but it's Saoirse Ronan who steals the show.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking out a video on YouTube where Saoirse Ronan tries to pronounce lots of other hard to pronounce names because it's time some vengeance was had on her for that stupid name.
Well, if you just remember Saoirse Ronan and don't look at her name.
I love how Matt cut out when he said
it rhymes with blank.
Yeah.
don't.
God, stupid.
It rhymes with nothing. That helps. That helps a lot, Matt.
Yes. Saoirse rhymes with inertia. Got it. Now y'all know. That came from a song she did on SNL.
All right. Connor, what is your pick for actress of 2018?
Olivia Colman.
Matt.
I'm gonna go with what's her Elsie Fisher from 8th. That's a real good pull.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Matt. I'm going to go with Elsie Fisher for 8th grade.
That's a great choice. I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
She's fantastic in that movie. So that takes us on to Best Actor of 2018. So very similar conversation, but flipping over to the other side. Connor, your first selection.
Krasinski for A Quiet Place.
I was waiting for the favorite.
No, there's no
men in
lead
it.
actor.
There's no men in it.
There's a few men in there, but none of them are like, oh, that's.
Colin Farrell doesn't pop up. No, that's like his dude.
Yorgos Lanthimos. I mean, he might have been in there in a little bit. I can't remember. I mean, there's a handful of people who you'll recognize in there as men, but no major roles.
There's a couple of people in there you'll recognize as men. What a weird way to phrase that sentence.
No, I didn't say as men. I think there's a couple of them in there that you'll recognize, like notable names enough. But it's the 3-woman show, and that's it, really. But yeah, Krasinski with A Quiet Place. I think he carries that movie as well. I've obviously I mentioned Emily Blunt last time. I think it's the pair of them that really make it work. But he has a lot to do in this movie, and he portrays a lot without a lot of dialogue. It's a great job of getting a lot across with the body language.
He's branded in my mind making the Josh throughout. Just from the trailer and all the promotional materials.
I think not talking helps. I think the more he talks, the more I just hear Jim from The Office, and it ruins the illusion.
The illusion a little bit. Yeah.
Can you imagine he was almost Captain America?
I know, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's funny because before this film I'd have gone, really? But after this I can see it.
Yeah. Well, and then he's also what's his face? Jack Ryan now, right?
Yeah.
He is, but I mean
on Amazon.
It's less interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, pick for actor.
I'm going with Christian Bale as Dick Cheney.
Okay.
There were numerous times in Vice I forgot it. And I thought it was, the Emperor himself on the screen.
Christian Bale, is probably the most known actor for changing his body. Don't get me wrong. When actors say they're training for roles and they're getting into shape, I don't really I mean, obviously that's something that people find difficult to do, but actors do have trainers. They have
and they're getting paid a shit.
And they're getting paid for it, so they have a lot of reasons to do it. But Christian Bale's the one who stands out because he goes in every direction at the drop of a hat. He will get really skinny for The Machinist. He will get bulky for Batman, and then he'll get overweight for American Hustle, and then he'll get really overweight for Vice. So
and this was a combination of makeup, his own presence, and the voice and the mannerisms and just the way that he would sit and carry himself.
The makeup in that movie is we never talk about that here, but I want to commend it in that movie specifically, not just on Bale as that, but Rockwell as Bush.
Oh man, Amy Adams as Lynn Chaney too, because we see her at all ages from her 20s up until the present age. Great. You never doubt it's you forget these are the actors playing these characters because they
sink into those roles
especially Rockwell, where he doesn't look like George Bush, but the way that he carries himself,
he's got the features a little bit, like the overbite a little bit there, the nose, it's there in the makeup work, but they didn't go overboard in let's make him identical.
But it's the way he's sitting in the chair eating, right? When he comes up, or barbecue. Not chicken wings, but oh man, but Christian Bale just there's a scene where he has a heart attack, and just the way that he sells it.
Which
you
one?
know, yeah, exactly, right. But it's as they're walking through the halls of Congress.
Oh, that
and
one.
he just
Okay.
touches himself, and he says, "Idiot, I'm having a heart attack." Like I remember hearing about that, in the news, and just the way that he plays it. It's just nothing's ever too over the top, and it's just pitch perfect.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one's mentioned Gosling yet for First Man. I was
getting there.
I was expecting
I
that to
Matt
be.
was saving it.
Yeah, I was expecting that to be one of the first things that were said.
But we did all the boring picks first last time, so we decided to shake it up a bit.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, certainly I've been trying to be the interesting one, but since you didn't pick the boring one, I'll mention Ryan Gosling for First Man.
I mentioned it as we're talking to Giselle, but very quiet, unassuming take on Neil Armstrong. He doesn't really stick out. Like, he blends in, but in a completely different way of Bale as Genie.
But it's exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Like, it's hard to fault him on anything, but he does bring a pathos to this character, because there's a lot about Armstrong I didn't know. Like, I just know him as the guy that was but the fact that he was essentially real life Hal Jordan and was constantly crashing planes, and yet he's the one that made it to the moon first. Like, it's really an amazing story.
Yeah. Connor, next pick.
Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. It's the obvious one. What are you gonna do? It's fantastic. He completely embodies it, and just it's all out, and it's easily the best part of that movie. Is it's a good movie, and then it's a phenomenal performance.
He certainly is a champion, my friend.
He will rock you.
Okay, I was even trying, Matt. Come on.
I was gonna make a joke about it involved Another One Bites the Dust, but I chose not to.
Come on, fit in fat bottom girls or something.
Bicycle. He likes to ride his bicycle. Even the cat got mad at me at that one. She just came stop.
And obviously, that movie went through a lot of troubles. They fired the director, but the show must go on.
Okay, is that a Queen song?
That's a Queen song, yes. That's
Gotcha.
If you know that's a Queen song, that landed very well. Thank you very much.
So I'm gonna say you're now the Prince of the Universe. I'm sad at myself for that one.
Go on, move on to the next one. I'm sick of these jokes now. We did it all with Gaga earlier.
You brought, you brought it up.
Radio Gaga, you say?
I knew what I was waiting for one of you to do it. I was like, who's getting it first?
All we hear is Radio Gaga. Anyway,
I want to bring up Wyatt Russell for Overlord. He does a lot of that movie's heavy lifting. Yeah. I enjoyed him at least. Like,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. He was good.
Yeah.
I
might just have a man crush on Wyatt Russell.
That's just a bad sign, though. He's got a man crush because he's really a fan of his dad, and it's just it's.
He's the younger, taller version. What can I say?
I'll go to give a shout out to John David Washington from BlacKkKlansman.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Speaking of fathers, there are certain lines he says in that movie where I not hear his dad. It's crazy. And what's funny too, he played for my favorite football team for a hot second, and I thought it was a completely different Washington. Like, I thought it was his brother or something, and then I pulled him up as I was watching BlacKkKlansman, and I was like, oh no, it's the same guy. It's good to see he's made a push into the acting.
Yeah.
Family business, so to speak.
Yeah.
No, I mean he obviously is the lead character. There's a lot of good actors in that. I mean, Adam Driver's pretty good in there. There's a lot of Topher Grace is David Duke.
David Duke. I didn't even know that until I watched it. Okay, this makes sense. Pencil neck dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good acting in that movie, but he of course is the lead, and he's this kind of the center of everything. And he's kind of this character's pulled in this kind of middle ground where like other black people kind of like see him as like sleeping with the enemy, if you will, and he's kind of like trying to change things from within, but he's getting resistance from within and from outside. It's
it really is. For him, it's hard to be at the middle because you're trying to see. Well, it's hard to say. You're trying to see both sides, white supremacists on one side, but you know what I mean. He's telling people you don't have to go to the extremes. Like we can come together.
Yeah, because the both sides you're talking about here are within the police force and then outside the police forces. I mean, white supremacy is not one of the sides in this. It's just it's white supremacy.
But I'm just saying, like, I didn't want it to be.
I can't believe you had to clarify that.
I know, it's just because Matt made it weird though by like saying, "Oh, I don't want to say both sides," but that's not the both sides he's talking about.
Yeah.
So he's very good.
But yeah. So we were not really doing supporting, but. I want to bring up Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger.
That's a good pick. I was thinking that earlier, actually. He's very good in that movie.
He's easily the best part of that movie, and I did enjoy Black Panther. But rewatching it, he sticks out so much.
Yeah,
that his final line in that movie.
I think we didn't mention that during direction. I don't think, but I think I want to commend that movie for the villain, and particularly the villain's motivations, which I guess is me commending the script more than anything else.
Yeah.
But there's some truly unique facets of Black Panther that are really worth mentioning.
There
are.
Any quickfire best actors?
Yeah, I want to mention the pair from Green Book, Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. If you follow our channel, you might have seen the past when the nominations for stuff came up. Me and Pete especially were a little surprised to see Mahershala Ali under supporting actor, based on the trailer. Now that I've seen it, I do agree with that. Based on what's actually in the film, that is how it is played.
Yeah, you're not the first person that I've heard say.
Yeah.
Story. So.
Because the film is very much, Viggo Mortensen's character. It's his film, for sure, and it's a great performance. But Mahershala Ali's performance is fantastic as well. They're both really.
Seems
good.
To be all he does, right? As he shows up, is fantastic in things, and then
pretty much
moves on to the next thing to be fantastic.
The pair of them have great chemistry, and they play off each other so well.
Nice.
I don't think I've got any other quick fire. I feel this was a better year for actresses than it was for actors, just from what I've seen.
One more then, Lakeith Stanfield from Sorry to Bother You.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was pretty great in that movie.
He's good in that. I didn't love that movie as much as I was hoping I would, though.
No, I agree. Like it was a good. It was great for 2/3. And then it was like, okay.
Yeah, what are we doing now? What's happening?
Yeah. But his performance is fantastic throughout.
Sure, no, that's fair.
Well, mentioning supporting, I want Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker in Spider-Verse. Never knew I needed that in my life until...
You're such a parody of yourself at points, Matt.
I know.
Yeah,
he's mentioned both Kurt Russell's kid and Jake Johnson in this conversation. And
he can't help himself.
And it's not like anyone else was really talking about those two as far as like actor awards was going, but Matt needs to do it.
I do. I love Jake Johnson so much.
Dear.
In that movie.
All right, so I guess
also last one, I promise. Donald Glover as Lando.
Who's a self-parody, Pete?
I know, but he.
Why are you saying that as if I'm being the self-parody? He's been the self-parody. You're both self-parodies.
No, I know. But I'm saying,
I've not mentioned Solo at every award.
Neither did I.
Look, he's fantastic in this role. Even the people who didn't like this movie agreed that he was great.
No.
He is just so good.
My God, this is like if Alison Hagen was in something, and I'm like, I'm going to nominate Alison Hagen for an award because she was in the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Tenuous at best.
Not standing for that one.
There was just a cat sighting, and then the cat disappeared.
Yes,
so,
he
I got excited for a second.
Disappeared into the ether up there somewhere.
Yep.
Doesn't exist anymore. All right, Connor, pick your best actor of 2018.
Rami Malek.
That's fair. I haven't seen it, so I can't really.
It's a boring choice, though.
Yeah.
I admit it, but it's really good.
Matt.
I'm going Christian Bale.
That's
can't argue with that one either. For my second.
Yes, I have not seen either of those movies though, so I'm left in a bit of a tricky pickle here because I don't have such an obvious choice to go with from my picks.
Can't pick the dad from 8th grade.
I wouldn't have. I mean, he's good.
Yeah,
he's actually really good, but he's supporting.
Basically, all you're left with is Gosling.
I mean, No,
I'm kidding.
Krasinski. He could pull Krasinski if he wanted to.
I'm just trying to coerce Pete into picking First Man for something.
I mean, we got Washington for Black Klansman. I've got options here.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, none of them are sticking out to me in the same way that the actresses were. Where I feel as passionate about the performances. I think if I'm being forced to choose,
And you are.
I'm probably going to go with Washington from Black Klansman over Gosling.
Okay.
Because Gosling is good in that movie, but he is kind of being a Ryan Gosling character. Does that make sense?
Quiet, subdued.
Yes, he's playing to his type.
He is a little
I
bit.
mean, maybe this might be Washington's type, but I've never seen Washington in anything before, so.
And he stands out a lot.
He does.
Like,
Because he's holding his own with a lot of other actors that I've seen before and all things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, from the first time he steps on screen, he's at the big, and he comes to life. You know what I mean?
That was big afro for the audio people who didn't get to see his mouths moving there.
Yeah.
It's because it kind of was like he's got the big pause, and he sticks out on screen, and I'm like, I'll clarify what he said there.
Could have been real dodgy.
Yeah. All right. There we go. There you go. That's actor. Which actually the final category on this one, just to lead us in, because the next video, of course, the next episode is going to be our top 10s. So before we get to that, though, we want to end this in some negativity. We're going to talk about the most disappointing films of 2018.
And that does not mean the worst films.
It doesn't, no.
No.
This is stuff that we were looking forward to and was disappointing, either because we've got a vested interest in it or because it was something that was hyped up or something that we thought was going to be good and then wasn't.
Yeah.
So
That's
Or you're stupid like me.
So
You're like,
I'm actually going to jump in first because I'm not letting anyone take this one from me. I am going to bring in Halloween 2018 into this conversation because it's not the worst thing ever by any means. It's not. But everything about the trailers, everything about what they were telling before I saw it made me think this might be the best Halloween sequel. This might be the thing that recaptures, not as good as the original, but recaptures some of the magic that's been missing for a long time. After the remakes, which were terrible. And unfortunately, the direction just wasn't there. There was great ideas in there. There was great plot ideas. There was obviously some good actors in there.
terrible third act break.
There was third act break was terrible. But there was just, for me, that wouldn't even be that big of a deal if that was not if the other stuff had been fine. For me, the problem was the direction. It was the pacing of the scenes. It was the pacing of which Michael Myers does things. Yeah. It fell off the entire time. I didn't get the feeling of Halloween that I wanted. And what's really bad about it though is that because it got technically a lot of the objective details right, it was just the actual direction that was faulting for me. That it led to a lot of people actually saying they really liked it, and it did well at the box office. People were into this movie. It did well. A lot of people would say it is one of the best sequels. I think the direction ruins it from being that. I think there's at least 3 or 4 sequels that are better, but
yeah, I've only seen the first 4 Halloween movies and then this one. And I definitely prefer 2 and 4 over this one.
I prefer 2 and 4 as well. I think 2 and 4 are better.
Yeah. I prefer 3. 3 is fantastic.
3 is a separate thing.
3's a solid film. It's just not a solid
it's
Halloween film, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Myers. But,
yeah, so Halloween is easily because last year when we came out of this conversation, I came in guns a blazing with Alien Covenant, and same thing again. A franchise I love was coming back. It felt like it might be a return to form, and this one's more frustrating in a way because it almost gets there, and then it's just the director
Covenant
just doesn't have it.
Yeah, Covenant was a big whiff, just bad on all fronts. This was like you almost had it,
Yeah. That was mine, Connor. What have you got for disappointing?
Well, obviously I've got a handful, but first up, I'm going to be controversial.
I'm
going to go with Roma. Now, here's the thing. I've given that many awards tonight.
Yeah,
and I'm still disappointed because
the Ginger the Greater strikes again.
No, here's the thing. I get into this properly on our review, but on a technical level, this movie is flawless. But I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the movie, and I came out disappointed that I didn't enjoy it properly. I didn't feel it the same way everyone else did. So I left disappointed.
Do you think if you would have seen it on the big screen, you would have appreciated it a little more?
No, because the technical, the visual, everything's flawless. Yeah. It's just something in the I couldn't even put my finger on it in the review. It was something in the character, the writing, whatever it is, just didn't click for me, and I didn't feel the emotion. So I left kind of a little bit hollow, even though it's technically amazing. So I was disappointed.
Oh, I've got a good second one. Matt, what's your first disappointment?
So there was one movie that I left physically angry from the theater this year, or this past year, and it was Fantastic Beasts 2: The Crimes of Grindelwald. There's off the rails, and then there's what happens.
This movie is so frustrating because there are 5 or 6 different ideas in there.
Yes,
that I love. That any one of those could have been a great film.
But they decided do all of them, and not any of them particularly well. Like the entire circus of basically magical freaks, and it just gets skimmed over. The first movie was great because it took its time, and like you had the goblin bartender played by Hellboy. What's his face? Help me out here, Pete. Who played Hellboy?
Oh, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman, there you go.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention. You said, help me out here, Pete. I'm like, what? I wasn't paying attention. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, Hellboy. Anyways, and that was like a little side jaunt that you had in the first movie. And then you kind of expect more of that in the second one. And you get it, but it's not a fully formed idea.
I think,
the
problem is every part of that movie is a side bit.
Yeah.
And like any of these could have been fantastic sequences. They most of these could have been extrapolated out into a whole movie and been really good.
And I'm not even getting caught up on what looks like editing errors that don't fit in with the continuity that Rolling is beforehand. Just go ahead.
One of the only things in that movie that didn't disappoint me was obviously I mentioned the music earlier, which is still really solid, right? Weirdly, Johnny Depp, because I thought I was going to hate Johnny. That was the part, going in. I was like, oh, I'm going to hate Johnny Depp, and then I'm like, actually, he was not bad. He was rather subdued.
Yeah, that first scene with him is the highest point, I feel.
Yeah, I was like, there's a bit towards the end where he's giving a speech to a crowd.
Yeah, and
it doesn't feel as over the top as you would assume from Johnny Depp in that scene.
Yeah,
it feels natural, charismatic speaker, over the top, but not Johnny Depp over the top.
I thought Jude Law was pretty great as young. Like he has that trickster vibe to him that Dumbledore always carried.
Yeah, that kind of twinkle in the eye of, he's got something brewing, but he can't just do it.
But just the main overall story just is kind of a mess, and there are beats of it that I do love, like things that happen just at the end totally gutted me and made me feel like, oh no, am I going to be there for the next one? Like, you bet. Like, I brought my wand to this one. I'm not going to not be there.
Don't feed them, Matt. Yeah. Don't feed them.
No, I'm going to feed the bears, Pete.
Vote with your wallet. Don't go.
So, yeah. But probably my biggest disappointment of the year. Everyone around.
Whoa, that was a long chunk that it cut out that time.
Yeah.
What was your biggest disappointment of the year, Matt?
that movie was my biggest disappointment. Left visibly angry, to which the people I went with gave me like a 5-yard bubble. Like, just don't talk to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's very raw and emotional.
All right, I'm going to throw out another disappointment. Mute.
I knew you were going to steal mine.
Yeah. Mute from Duncan Jones, who directed the fantastic Moon and the very good Source Code. I never saw Warcraft because it's Warcraft. I don't give a shit. So this was his return to a low-budget science fiction movie. It was going straight to Netflix in like February or whatever it was, and it was like, this is exciting, interesting cast, interesting premise. You've got this main character who doesn't talk. I'm excited about this, and it was a big pile of shite.
Yeah, it was.
That's a shame.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, you said you were angry coming out of Fantastic Beasts. Watch our review for this.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, I was livid.
There is one of the most weirdly insensitive paedophile plots in that movie that are just like, wait, what? Why are we doing this? And
oh, jeez.
You'll never look at Justin Theroux again, or even Paul Rudd, to be honest, for that matter. It's just unpleasant. Man. You feel like he's trying to talk about parenthood and he's making this personal film about what it means to
You
like.
can kind of see what it's supposed to
Yeah,
be,
but it's not
but
working.
only because you're like, well, it can't be what it's actually coming across as.
The only positive thing I can really say about it is that it's got a really cool cover of heart-shaped box at one point.
It does. But I hated
cool.
that. Oh, that film left me angry.
Yeah, that was a really bad movie.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was
it
trying, like, watching that movie, like, every 10 minutes, I was, like, just in my head, going, I'm trying to like this, like, looking for things to like.
Yeah. I'll have to check out that cover, because I do enjoy that song. So...
Yeah, don't watch the movie. I thought you were going to say I'll have to check out the movie then.
No,
for a second. I was
no,
like,
no,
what are you doing?
No.
Yeah.
It's only like 2 hours long, but it feels like it's 4.
Yeah.
And that's Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux.
Yeah.
I usually like those two guys, too. That's a shame.
Alexander Skarsgård is the lead as
lead.
well. Yeah. Oh, to be honest, it cuts between them enough that I'd say they're all kind of, it's more of an ensemble, to be honest.
Oh, wait, he should have been the lead.
Yeah, but it's more of an ensemble.
Yeah.
Connor, next disappointment.
I'm going to follow up on the controversy.
Oh, God.
Infinity War.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'd been dwindling in interest on the MCU, but I really liked Thor Ragnarok. And I thought, okay, Avengers, all right, let's see what you got. Rekindle me, make me care again. And then I came out even worse. And I didn't even have the anger. I just felt dejected. That I was like, oh,
the funny thing about this is that me and Connor both felt kind of dwindled on it in like 2016, getting into 2017. And I'm the opposite, where there's been a couple of key films that have brought me back up, where I liked Spider-Man Homecoming, I liked Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther was pretty good, Third Act was a bit shaky, but pretty good, had some really, had some unique elements that made it stand out.
Did you see Ant-Man and Wasp yet?
I have seen Ant-Man and Wasp, it's fine.
I haven't.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine, it made me chuckle. I'm kind of glad I watched it at home, though. I'm glad I didn't go to the theatre, to be honest.
Yeah, it didn't need to be, like, with their streaming, I could definitely see them do home releases, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
a couple of these going forward, but
yeah, it was fine. It was amusing for what it was, and had some heart to it. But like, I was into Infinity War. I think Infinity War shook up the formula. It didn't just do the same thing, same structure. I thought it had balls to end the way it did, and yeah, I mean,
I wanted to be into it, like, clearly, because I like. Overall, I generally speaking like enough of these movies that I should care, and I just wish I wish I felt the same way everyone else did about it. So I was disappointed.
What did it cost, Connor? What did it cost?
Too much.
Everything.
Diplomatic immunity. Anyway.
I love it. This is like Squirrel Girl all over again. Okay.
Squirrel Girl.
12-year-old sense of humor. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Any other quick-fire minor disappointments you want to throw out here? I want to just throw it. It's a milder one, but I really like the trailer for Slice, which was a low-budget kind of horror comedy. And then me and Tim did it for streams, and we both hated it. It was just so unfunny once you actually saw the movie. So it's not a big disappointment, but I want to mention it.
Yeah, I'd say the
Ready
Predator.
One?
Predator.
Yeah.
Oh, the Predator. Yeah, the Predator's kind of. I mean, I didn't hate it as much as a lot of people did, but it is definitely not the movie I was hoping for when they announced Shane Black was in a Predator movie.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I would say Ready Player One, and not. I actually, if you go back and watch, the further away I get from it, the more I'm just like, Spielberg, you tricked me. You did some magic, and you're like, look at this hand, and then it swapped to the other hand.
Yeah, I wasn't super into that movie. I wasn't really anticipating it, though, so I didn't feel disappointed.
Yeah, but see, I was hoping it was going to be Spielberg going back to Spielberg, and like, the first sequence with the race and seeing the DeLorean, yeah, like, this is awesome. It made me feel things. And then, but the more I think about the overall story, it's kind of weak. And
to add on, this is movie a different movie, but to add on to the directors doing something disappointment for a Netflix movie, Apostle was not that good. It had some good elements. You could tell it was a good director there, but like the movie dragged and.
It's been sitting in my queue, and I haven't had umph.
Yeah, this is not 2018, but that trend continues with Velvet Buzzsaw in 2019. Just FYI.
I will say I was disappointed by Jurassic World 2 because I really like the first one. I bat for that, and then the second one was like it's kind of a mess.
I get that one. I get that more than your Infinity.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think it is a mess. Like, I think Jurassic World 2 is a mess. I will never defend it as actually being a good movie. It's a mess that I kind of enjoyed, though. So
I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, I've been saying how much I enjoyed Venom, even though it's an awful movie.
yeah.
So I get it. I'm not defending it as a good
So-
movie, and this it's not the worst movie. It's better than a good handful of the other ones we've mentioned here.
Yeah.
But I was just disappointed because I wanted to love it.
I'm gonna call this next list I'm gonna have. It's a subset in the disappointment. It's called I Should Have Known Better. But it's me, and it'll be Rampage, Skyscraper, and The Meg. I had no reason to think these would go above what they actually were.
Yeah.
But you wanted them to anyway.
Yeah, well, especially Skyscraper, because it's The Rock doing action. How hard is that to mess up?
Yeah, Skyscraper is actually genuinely
bland.
Skyscraper is genuinely disappointing in what it is, because instead of just being a Die Hard knockoff, which is what I was hoping to enjoy out of it, it avoided being a Die Hard knockoff in the worst way possible by just avoiding being an action movie. It was weird.
Yep. Yeah. And then Rampage was... I put it up there with Venom. It's entertaining, but it's not good. It went to some crazy places. The villains are complete, almost out of a different movie. They're so bad.
Yeah.
It's not. And then The Meg, which, sure, I understand how people could have enjoyed it, but I kind of wanted it to lean more into the craziness.
I think that was the best of the three you just mentioned, but I mean, it's not a good movie. It's just, it's
I agree with that.
And I feel like Statham felt the same way, because he kind of wanted to be this bigger, crazier movie, and it's kind of subdued in a weird way. And I ain't, because I wouldn't have. You give me a giant shark movie, and man, and it's gonna be, big and over the top. But those are the I should have known better, and it should come as no surprise.
Yeah, another one that I think I'll say I'm disappointed, even though I liked to a point. I think Tomb Raider could have been better, and it's frustrating because you can see exactly what would have made it better. You can doctor that script, looking at that movie, and go, because Vikando's very good in it. I like her a lot in that movie.
Yeah.
But it just the plot, the script just goes to a place that is just unfulfilling in what you want from it, I think.
Well, it's very paint by numbers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it at the theater since, and I've had ample opportunity. It's on HBO, just sitting there. So
yeah, it's almost a shame that it probably didn't do enough to get a sequel, because I feel like a sequel could maybe be the film we want.
It's a shame it never lived up to the opening sequences in London.
No,
that stuff was real good.
Yeah. Any other disappointments?
I think I hit them all. So.
That third Godzilla animated movie on Netflix. The first one was good in 2017. The second one was towards the start of 2018, and that was better.
No, they were both 2018.
No, they weren't. There was 2 and 3 were in 2018. First one was 2017, I think.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
No, are you sure the third one wasn't 2019?
I can look these up.
I'm pretty
sure.
What
are they called?
Oh, I think Japan got it in 2018. You're right. I'm thinking when everyone else got it on Netflix.
Yeah, but it's still a 2018 movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we everyone else didn't get it until January, February, or whatever it was.
Yeah. But the second one was setting all these things up as to this is going to be that, and I got excited. And the third one kind of just fluffs it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That was disappointing. Yeah, actually, another low-key one, I guess isn't a big one, but the fourth Insidious movie, I really like that franchise, and I enjoyed the third one for what it was.
Me too, yeah.
The fourth one has some things that I like, but it's definitely the most generic and dull.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's fine. It's just it doesn't have any of the fun charm that the previous three
had. It didn't have much of a climax either. When it ended, I was like, oh wait, that's the ending? We're done? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird. Also, the dragon Diaz from Arrow was in it.
Yeah.
Which now we solid that. I really hope when I go back and watch Fringe, I'm not annoyed in that first season when he's there, because it's Diaz is here. What's happening?
Yeah.
Matt, any more disappointments, Seth? And
I don't. Ralph Breaks the Internet. It wasn't bad, but I wanted it to be better. Yeah,
That's
I really liked it.
Yeah, well, no, I understand how people like it. It was just me going in and seeing a lot of the trailers, and I just felt like it didn't hit the same spots that I thought it was going to.
That's
So
fair enough.
Again, probably mostly on me.
All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up there then. I mean, unless we want to pick for each of us the most disappointing, actually give that an award. Because for me, it's Halloween for sure. Like, Halloween's...
Creme de Grindelwald.
There you go.
Mute.
There you go. So those are most disappointing movies of 2018. So this wraps up the end of this episode. So this is essentially part 1, because part 2 is going to be all of our top 10s of 2018. And we'll probably do most anticipated for 2019 as a conversation at the end of that. It makes sense to leave that at the end after we've done talking about 2018. So yeah, so this has been this episode. So thank you very much for watching, listening. Let us know what your thoughts on any of these awards have been in the comments, what your picks are. You can like and subscribe, of course. That helps us out a lot. As of course, goes over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you get to support us for as little as $1 per month, and you get some bonuses, you get some stuff early, some exclusives. And it's too late to do this now, but $1 patrons and up did also get to submit their top 10s, and we will be giving you the results of that at the end of the next part, so you can look forward to that as well. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys, and we will see you next time.